This year, I recommend everyone to take a conservative approach to investing, especially avoiding things that can easily turn from NFTs into just JPGs. They've dropped sharply, right? I said last year that they would fall, and I repeated it again at the beginning of this year. Now, they've really plummeted. And of course, from the end of last year, the beginning of this year, and in our trend seminars, or from the monthly and yearly forecasts, I've consistently mentioned that Taiwan's stock market would drop to just over 15,000 this year. After that, it will gradually recover. The timing is roughly as we enter summer. After a period of decline, it will slowly start to rise again. And after the Mid-Autumn Festival, it will go back up. Also, we are collaborating with the very famous influencer brand, Duke Cake. For Valentine's Day, they launched 3 or 4 types of chocolate. And if you buy their chocolates, you can get discount vouchers for all of our courses. If you buy their chocolates and you come to our classes, we'll pair them with their chocolates. Their style is a bit artsy, and the owner always uses very unique flavors to make their cakes or chocolates. Their reputation is really good. More importantly, the owner often joins us in doing charity work, helping children in remote areas. So whenever you need to give a gift, consider Duke of Knights. And I also hope everyone has a wonderful Valentine's Day. Students or fans often message me privately saying, "Teacher, it really happened just as you predicted, dropping to over 15,000. So is this the bottom? When can we start buying?" Why is it that so often when prices are high, you want to buy and as soon as you do, it drops? Like with TSMC, everyone bought at over $650. But when it's really low, you don't dare to buy. And then when you finally muster up the courage and decide, I have to believe in Buffett and buy when prices are low, it's already gone up quite a bit. This is how it usually goes, and I'm no exception myself. I watch, but I always wonder, is this really the right time? The vast majority of people, including myself, are easily influenced by emotions. When it comes to investing, it's easy to buy at the peak and sell at the bottom because you're afraid the price will keep dropping. You get scared. Let me tell everyone, basically, it probably won't fall below 15,003. All right, so it's roughly around 15,006, about that level. Then it will keep moving sideways like this, slowly circling around. This slow circling is everyone consolidating, some people can't take it anymore and leave, while others think it's pretty good and come back in. All right, so it keeps circling, right? Around mid-July or so, it should slowly start to move upward. Why is that? Because, well, most countries around the world are expected to lift restrictions this summer. We'll also start getting ready to open up and we'll be able to travel abroad again. So there will be a lot of good news coming up. During this period, everyone is sorting out their investment targets, which is why you see the market going up and down, up and down. Now, in the midst of these fluctuations, if we know that the lowest it will go is around 15,000, then when it's just above 15,000, wouldn't that be a good time to buy in? Right? Oh, slowly reduce gradually, like this. But this is very difficult. Why? Because our emotions are affected by many things. So let's talk about this. I've always told everyone that anything that makes money requires a high level of knowledge and a high level of skill. There is absolutely no way in this world to make money without knowledge or skill. I still recommend that if you truly want to invest and manage your finances, you should really take some courses. There's a teacher named Max, and his greatest strength is that he seriously discusses these topics with you. He focuses on the fundamentals, the basics. Just like when we learn martial arts, the foundational concepts are the key to understanding the market. Teacher May has many years of investment experience and is also a lead writer for a well-known investment magazine. What he discusses is always rooted in basic thinking, logic, and fundamental analysis when looking at the market. Why do we do this? Because when your technical skills reach a high enough level, you won't act on impulse because rationality will guide you and keep your impulses in check. It's just like when we analyze the market. Why do we discuss so much logic and rational thinking? You won't hear me on my channel saying things like, oh, the Jumen star makes people prone to arguments, or the Kongji star brings trouble. This is like saying, whatever karma you accumulated in your past life, you need to help others more, or else your whole life will be ruined. I won't talk to you about such superficial or religious things, because if this is a technique that has been passed down for thousands of years, if it's a good system of fate analysis, then it should be very logical. Only then can it withstand the test of time for thousands of years. Otherwise, what are we even doing here? I might as well just go pray. No matter how much bad karma I have, I'll just pray, sincerely. All right, it's the same with investing. Why are some people always able to succeed in the market? It's because their rationality overcomes their emotions, and rationality must be built on a solid foundation of knowledge. Besides knowledge, we can also look at 2 other aspects to see if we're prone to certain situations. For example, take the fortune palace. That is the way we use our money. If you have the Tiantong star in your chart, for example, I personally have always had a certain laziness when it comes to investing. What does this kind of laziness lead to? For instance, I might clearly think that next week the market will drop below 15,800, so it's about time for me to buy. But the lazier I am, the more I just think, well, I'll wait until it happens and then decide. All right, it really dropped to 15,600. Should I buy now? I decide to wait and plan to buy tomorrow. But I should have bought immediately because the next day it goes back up to 15,800. Now I'm thinking yesterday it was 15,006, now it's 15,008. Should I still buy? I hesitate again and then it jumps to 16,200. Wow, at this point you start to struggle thinking, I originally had the chance to buy at 15,600, but now it's 16,200. Maybe I'll just wait a bit longer. This kind of lazy personality causes me to miss out on these great opportunities. So sometimes, from a person's character, we can see which types of people are likely to miss out on opportunities. For example, those with the Tiantong star, or if your wealth palace or fortune palace or even your life palace contains malefic stars like Mars, Qingyang, or Tuoluo, these kinds of entanglements where you don't know what to do, or you might think, maybe I should just go for it. This type is good. Then there are those who need to think for a long time before making a move. For example, people with the Tianji, Tianliang stars, or say Taiyin, Tiantong, Tianliang, or even Sun and Moon. These types who are easily indecisive also tend to have trouble making rational decisions. What else? There are also those who are extremely confident. Being overly confident is also a kind of irrational situation. For example, people with Zi Wei and Qixia, or those with Pojun or Zi Wei and Tianxiang, or Wuku and Qixia, Taiyang and Jumen, they all tend to be like this. When it comes to making judgments, especially regarding financial management, if these stars appear in the life palace, wealth palace, or fortune palace, this kind of situation is likely to occur, especially when encountering malefic stars. So what should you do in this case? At times like this, it's recommended that people with these stars need to think even more rationally about what they should do. Engage in more learning. That's on the personality level. Now, when it comes to the aspect of fortune, basically, when we talk about fortune, it's definitely not just about the natal chart. It has to be the fortune transit chart, right? As for the fortune transit chart, for example, this year's annual life palace is here, the annual chart. The wealth palace is here, and right here there happens to be a Tuo Luo star. In principle, this year, everyone will encounter some issues with financial management. The Tuo Luo star, as long as it's in the spouse palace of the fortune transit chart, I might end up with the wrong partner in relationships. In the wealth palace, of course, it means I might pick the wrong investment targets. Besides this Tuo Luo star, you might also have a Tuo Luo in the wealth palace of your major fate cycle, or in your natal wealth palace. Although your natal chart doesn't represent your fortune transit, it still means that, as a person, you tend to have difficulty finding rational thinking when it comes to financial management. So, of course, when the fortune line appears, you might also encounter problems. Some students might ask, teacher, what should I do in this situation? Of course, if you have good skills or extensive knowledge, you can solve this issue. In addition, when I encounter this, when there is a gyro star in the wealth palace or life palace, I might say, I shouldn't do it this month. Then students ask, teacher, what about this year? Should I avoid investing for the whole year? My suggestion to everyone is, if your own wealth palace, if what's sitting there are those new stars I just mentioned, and not some of the relatively rational new stars, then this year I would advise everyone to be conservative with investments. Especially, don't buy things that can easily turn from NFT into just a JPG. Those have dropped a lot, right? I said last year they would fall, and I repeated it at the beginning of this year, and now they really have crashed. Just look at the annualized interest rates. When you see returns above 10%, and there are a bunch of people telling you about it, and there's constant news about someone making a lot of money, that usually means there's a problem. Because when people are really making money, they don't keep coming out to tell you about it. I hope that this year, no matter if you're a rational new star or not, no matter what your luck is like, at the very least, let's keep a rational mindset. Then, as this year goes on, when everyone else is running into trouble but your money hasn't disappeared, you will become one of the wealthy. After all, good or bad is always relative. If everyone is poor and you haven't changed, you'll naturally become one of the privileged. I really hope everyone can think rationally about their own financial situation, and I hope everyone can avoid this spinning top star this year. Thank you.